Rome was founded in 735 BC. Some thought it was first founded in 750 BC. Cats are free to roam in Rome. There was a law that cats can live where they were born. Their eyes were bigger than their stomach, so it was common for them to vomit between their meals. Men could only wear togas. In ancient Rome, only free people could wear a toga. The women wore stolas, which was the female version of a toga. The coins in the Trevi Fountain were 3,000 euros. Aethelstan was the first king of England, and he was the first king of the Anglo-Saxons to rule over England. The United Kingdom had the world's first postage stamp, which featured Queen Victoria in 1840. French became the United Kingdom's official language in 1066. With the arrival of William the Conqueror, it remained the official language until 1362. Berengaria of Navarre is the only queen of England to have never been in the country. Vikings stayed in the UK for almost 300 years. Their first raid was in 865, and their last was in 1066. Hatshepsut were the only Egyptian pharaoh who wore a fake beard, because women weren't taken seriously all the time. Ancient Egypt gave the world a lot of inventions, like paper, ink, toothpaste, and a lot more. Egyptians were big fans of cats. They even worshipped them. They created hieroglyphs. It was a type of writing they did with pictures. The ancient Egyptians invented the 65-day calendar. They even played board games, but not like Monopoly and Cluedo. Emperor Charlemagne sat on the throne for over 400 years. His disciples sat his mummified body on the throne. King Charles VI of France thought he was made out of glass, and if touched he would shatter. The city of Marseille is older than Socrates. Marseille, the oldest city in France, was original Greek colony founded around 600 BCE. France is one of the oldest nations in the world. French sovereignty was declared in 486 CE. During the reign of the first king of France, Clovis I, Leonardo da Vinci lived and died in France. King François I became close friends with da Vinci and remained such until da Vinci's death. At Clausewitz in 1519, the University of Takshashila, the world's oldest formal university, is situated in modern-day India. The university dates back to 700 BCE. Snakes and ladders originated in India by Gandalf, a 13th century. The original name was Mokshapat. India also invented chess. From there it spread to Persia, where it spread to the Muslim world, then to southern Europe. Indians were the ones who invented shampoo. They used the pulp of a fruit called soap berries. The city of Varanasi is the oldest place in India, which dates back to 5,000 years. They believe that if anyone dies in this city, they attain salvation and freedom from the cycle of birth and rebirth. Toilet paper is a Chinese invention. Contrary to what many people think, toilet paper was invented in China in 1391. Chinese natives call their country the Middle Kingdom. The first use of the modern word China was in 1555. The origin of the name is a topic of disagreement among scholars. Chinese thought the carp resembled a dragon. The carp is a symbol of strength and perseverance in China. Chopsticks are a 3,000-year-old invention. The oldest surviving pair of chopsticks dates back to 1200 BCE. The current Chinese flag was selected out of a total of 2,992 other flags. China's national flag was adopted in September 1949 as a result of a flag design competition. The ancient Greeks lived over 3,000 years ago. Their civilizations followed a dark age in which thought to have ended 800 BC. The Greeks had some strange superstitions about food. Some of them wouldn't eat beans, as they thought it contained souls of the dead. Ancient Greece invented the theater. People loved watching plays. They had theaters that could hold 15,000 people. Most Greeks wore a chiton, which was a big t-shirt made from one large piece of cotton. The ancient Greeks held many festivals in honor of their gods. The first Greek Olympics were held in the city of Olympia in 776 BC. William the Conqueror defeated Harold at the Battle of Hastings, arguably the most famous date in English history, the year of 1066 with the Battle of Hastings. The sealing of Magna Carta, Year 1215, the fame of Magna Carta, or Great Charter, lies not in its impact, which was actually relatively small, but its legacy. Wars of the Roses begins. Year 1455, the Wars of the Roses, fought between the two powerful houses of York and Lancaster, pitted families against each other. William Shakespeare is born in 1564. Over 1,000 words in the English language are used today because of William Shakespeare. Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot are discovered. 1605. Assassinate attempt on King James I. The Gunpowder Plot may have succeeded if it were not for a late warning by an anonymous letter. The Battle of Waterloo. 1815. The Battle of Waterloo was the final clash after years of war between European nations and French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte. World War I was a global war. Over 30 nations declared war between 1914 and 1918. It is far better to face the bullets. The First World War was not inevitable or accidental, but began as a result of human actions and decisions. It was a war of production. The national resources were mobilized as each combatant nation raced to supply its armed forces with enough men and equipment. It was a war of innovation. Advances in weaponry and military technology provoked tactical changes, as each side tried to gain an advantage over the other. The introduction of aircraft into war left soldiers and civilians vulnerable to attacks from above. For the first time, it was a war of destruction. The First World War left an estimated 16 million soldiers and civilians dead, and countless others physically and psychologically wounded.